Time for cafecito, time for cafecito, time for cafecito break. Join us, take a sip. It's time to wait. Hurry on up, we've got people to shake. Time for cafecito, time for cafecito, time for cafecito break.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Cafecito Break. This is Rosangel Perez with Mark for NY. We may be having trouble connecting to YouTube. I'm going to check that out. But welcome. It's been a few weeks since we've been able to chat with you guys and connect with you guys. Welcome to the New York Freedom Fighters podcast. We intend to always host this space Mondays, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And forgive us for our absence. Life has been lifing. But today we intend to chat about some hot topics because there are a lot of topics in the news. World 3, No Kings, the Sliwa Mamdani GOP drama, and much more. I'd like to take the first couple of minutes and just say that I wanted to say that we have been celebrating Women's Month. And this has been a powerful month for the Perez sisters as we've been celebrating year 14 of producing Cafecito Break podcast. And I have to just say that when our first show was intended to just be focused for the ladies, and I really believed that when I was putting a Cafecito Break out there that it would be just like a little cozying up with a little Cafecito Break with like a little circle with the girls, right? And the very first show taught me a huge lesson. The callers that first show of 2 hours were mostly men, not the ladies that I was hoping to attract. And it would be the men from that very first show that would serve as great teachers, right? And I didn't realize it then, but I real now with, you look back 14 years, we've had the privilege of speaking and interviewing hundreds of people, thousands of people actually. We've produced thousands of videos out there. And it teaches you. And I want to say that I'm grateful to the women and the men that have been a part of this show because you all teach us. We all teach each other. I love that this space, I get to host this show with two brothers that I have so much respect for. Cozy's not here today with us today. Shout out to him. He is a brother we respect so much here. And also my other brother, Mark for NY, who I'm going to just pass the mic to in just a second. But first, I want to just tell everyone appreciation is one of the things that is lacking so much. And a lot of people, a little thank you can go a long way. I'm just saying it for when, some, like you order pizza and you don't even tip the person, or worse yet, you don't even look at the person in the eye. I'm just saying, in this world where everything is asking us to look at the evolution of AI and how things are expanding and moving so quickly, while at the same time making humanity feel small or worthless with, oh, well, AI can do it better and faster than you, and the robots can do it better and faster than you. But robots cannot replicate the heart or the mind and the soul of a human being, of eye contacts, of connection. And every Cafecito Break we produce, no matter who we are sharing the space with, is that little Cafecito Break, authentic and humanity. So thank you. I don't know if that made any sense to you, but what I'm trying to say is it's okay to be human. And that means that sometimes you don't have the right words, that sometimes it's you're going to have to say sorry, that sometimes you may need to forgive and lighten up the load. You only get one life, right, that I'm aware of. And our breaths are all counted. So I want to try to live my life the best way it is, even if I'm living dark days on certain moments, as many of us are. So, deep breath to all of you, appreciation and love and kindness, and thank you for being with us for 14 years. And let's have 14, 15, 17 more years of that. Thank you, everyone. Mark.
Hello, fellow freedom-loving Americans. Mark for New York here. Congrats, Cafecito, on 14 years. I've been a part of it for somewhere between 1 and 2 years. The last, bit we've known each other for about five, I think, 4 or 5, something like that, when the lockdowns and mandates and everything happened. So you were definitely out on the street interviewing me when I was a candidate and speaking at all these rallies. So good to see you're still with it. And of course, we are going strong and we are talking several topics. I hope everyone is prepared for World War III, ladies and gentlemen, because it seems like we got a lot of chaos brewing around the world. Obviously, we don't tend to think about these things. Everyone has their own personal, individual problems with life and the day to day, and they just don't really think about the severity of some of the things going on around the world. First of all, when Trump attacked Venezuela, I said in my Instagram post, well, this is basically the start of World War III, and a lot of people didn't understand what I was saying. They thought I was overreacting, but you know, Venezuela and Iran are the two countries that China gets most of their oil from. So him taking on Venezuela and then now Iran has a huge impact on what happens in China. Oil prices has been going up since the shutdown of the Strait of Hormuz for a while, but China's more affected than anybody. And, well, Cuba's affected even more than that because they are not getting oil from pretty much anywhere at this point. Venezuela is cut off, and basically Trump is basically saying nobody send oil to Cuba, and Vladimir Putin is not listening to that right now. He is sending 750,000 barrels of oil on a boat that's expected to arrive in, I believe, 8 more days from now to Cuba. On the manifest, it says it's headed for Boston, but it's not. It is headed for Cuba. And if the U.S. intercepts it, like it would intercept anyone else trying to send oil to Cuba, that is a declaration of war against Russia. So that's kind of something that nobody's really talking about. And everyone's like, Israel is the reason why we're in Iran. And, maybe that has something to do with it, but it's a lot more complicated than people think. Now, the pros of this is, Donald Trump is trying to stop global communism. Venezuela was a communist country, Cuba's a communist country, and China's a communist country. So he's, trying to free Cuba, Venezuela, and China from communism. So I think the long game here is really important what Trump's doing. It's not something that it's a very complex strategy, and it starts with the oil. And I think a lot of tensions are arising, but at the same time, I think the goal is to end global communism. Now, Vladimir Putin, I did not see that coming. It's he seems to be anti-globalist, and but at the same time, they tend to be in talks with Iran and China of getting rid of the petrodollar with the U.S. There was talks of the Iran reopening the Strait of Hormuz if people paid in Chinese currency for oil instead of U.S. currency. So there's a lot going on with that, and it all really has to do with oil, but not for the reasons that people think. So I think it's to try to stop communism, and I think it's a very a bold attempt at a very interesting time that we live in, and yes, it could result in I joke about it saying World War III, but I'm not at the same time. So it's a crazy times that we're living in right now. Rose Angel, you have any thoughts on that?
I realized I was on mute. I, each day that we wake up and we're listening to all of this, it, sometimes I'm just feeling like we're in a bad wag the dog, but it's, I don't know, like, I think maybe that's part of it. How, how you were saying, like, yeah, while we're all living our life and having, living life and struggling with it, life is getting very serious out there in the world. And I think that part of what's happening, at least from what I can see, is humans are just so tired. A lot of us are so tired with, like, oh, another thing, oh, another thing over there, oh, another devastation over there. And you're just
We're all out of fucks to give. Let's put it that way. We just don't,
fatigued,
we're just
fatigued
we're
to the
just
point that
sick and tired of it.
you're so fatigued. You're news fatigued. You're outrageous news fatigue. Like, what outrageous thing can happen now that these new developments, like the ones that you just shared, almost feel like, are you kidding me? This is worse than the most terrible movie that I've seen. We're living it, and I don't know. I could see how people or human beings just want to dissociate from whatever this is, like, and I think that that's also scary because when I think about what was happening, it's a different topic, but with COVID, a lot of people were dissociated from what was really happening, and they didn't see the writing on the wall until all of a sudden it was here, and you're like, hey guys, we're just gonna lock down for 2 weeks, and most people I knew laughed at it like it was a joke and it wouldn't happen, like it wouldn't change our lives. It caught everybody off guard, which is my point. And so my intuition is feeling like whatever's happening, I don't know what I don't know what that is, but it feels like we are leading to another sort of lockdown, like some sort of energy lockdown is gonna just be triggered. We're seeing the writings on the wall. There are a lot of little tea leaves already sprinkling from other countries where, and even here with politicians introducing, slower mileage around schools, like it's a lot of other cities are replicating these moves, right? And that's sort of like what caught many people off guard when things were happening with COVID. Like, you didn't realize that there were many other things happening in the same exact way in different cities, and not just the United States, but in other parts of the world. So when you expand back and you start understanding a little bit what the full picture is, a lot of times it's too late because whatever they wanted to do, they already happened. And that is my trepidation at this
Yeah.
moment in time.
Go Patty 8 says in the comments, I hope and pray Trump has a plan because it's scary. Yeah, I mean it's scary for people that are worried about terrorist attacks too. There's the thought that I believe the owner of the World Trade Center, Silverstein, had the added insurance before the attack on the World Trade Center, and he also just added a bunch of insurance on the building that he owns in LA. So people are worried about a terrorist attack happening in LA. So it is definitely scary times. For some reason, my gut feeling is telling me everything's going to be okay. Maybe it's going back to the being all out of fucks to give thing when it comes to the political news and, like, what else is new, and everyone's got to do their own thing. They got to go to work and make money to pay the bills and stuff. And when you stop and think about everything that's going on in the world, it could be scary at times, but it's I think Trump, you have peace through strength, and I think negotiations did open up, so maybe uh, things will get better before they get worse, but we'll see what happens. But a lot, obviously, people are triggered by Trump with TDS, and there was also a recent story that I posted that Trump is going to be on, his signature is going to be on U.S. currency. So everybody that has TDS Feel free to give me all your cash because you don't want that Trump signature on it. I will take it, and I will give you $1 of old currency for every $100 bill that you have with Trump currency with Trump signature on it. Um, so, but moving along, you have speaking of Trump, you have the No Kings protests, which happened recently in every city, and to everyone who was posting about how massive these turnouts are, I say to them, it is amazing how you could get so many people together when you pay them to be there. Okay? They are paid protesters. Soros and all these, people who pay to have protesters there. Like, we don't have any protesters for the Epstein files. The Democrats will talk about it every now and then, but we don't have millions of people showing up for that. This is not organic. This is paid protesters. There's plenty of videos showing proof that they're paid, they're organized, with the signs and everything, and they're told to report at a certain time, to and they get their pay at the end of the day if they're there the whole. It's There's journalists who have exposed this numerous times. It is paid protesters. It is BS. Nobody cares. The concept of no kings is absolutely ridiculous. He's nowhere close to a king, and we all know that. So I feel like I'm beating a dead horse talking about the no kings thing every time these morons get together. But what's your take, Cafecito?
Just to further add to what you said, I love the eloquence of your words. Okay. It's from Fox News Digital Investigation reported that the demonstrations are being organized by a broader coalition of roughly 500 groups with an estimated 3 billion in combined annual revenue. And that report said that the network includes communist organizations planning to use protests to advance calls for revolution. And this is when it takes a turn, because a
Yeah,
lot of these people, they will swear up and down that, or they don't even care, or they don't even fully understand the serious implications of how all of these people are just being utilized. It's like that quote, being led like sheep to the slaughter.
yeah, and it's been going on through history. Paid protesters is nothing new in other countries. So they want to give the full sense of thinking that there's a lot of people that agree with this. So this is what you need to believe. And when elections get stolen, you have these videos that show all these people showed up. They must really care. No, they don't give a shit. They need a paycheck. The inflation is going up. People need to eat. They need to pay their bills. They're going to show up to a protest. There's a lot of actors who are looking for work as extras and stuff like that. This is where it shows up at, like on Craigslist and all these forums for actors to who are looking for pay to be extras and things of that nature. So all these are paid protesters. Not all of them. I'd say 90% of them. There's probably about 10% that have TDS and think that them coming to an event is actually going to accomplish anything other than looking like a retard.
Mi gente, enough with the TDS. It's been like 10 years. How is the TDS serving? It's not. It's just getting in the way of common sense thinking and common sense actions. And it's
It is.
also getting in the way of fruitful relationships. And I also have to say that it's exhausting to witness people with TDS because they just love to talk about Trump. There, I say more than all of the people that I know that might love Trump so much. to the point where it's a little bit too much in our eyes. We're like, you guys are diehard fanatics. That's not healthy. We're we that's a little
Yeah,
bit too much.
there's two sides to TDS now. There's the ones that, the traditional TDS that are the libtards that are triggered by everything Trump says, and then there's the other TDS where they're just hardcore Trump and he could do no wrong and you defend him no matter what he does and what he says because he's Trump. And that's less common than the traditional, because a lot of us who voted for Trump are not happy about the Epstein files. We're not happy about a lot of things, but I know that overall, it's really the Epstein files, but that's a whole different story where he could be withholding things as blackmail. There could be something else going on. I don't know 100% if Trump is on our side or not. I never did. I've never 100% trust anyone but myself. But um, regardless, I want to change the topic while we still have some time on Brooklyn Free Speech, which airs Saturdays at 2:30 p.m. on local cable TV in New York. We got about 7 minutes to go on that, so let's talk about some local New York politics. I believe you have a video with Curtis Sliwa Mamdani. So if you got that ready, let's roll into that and touch on that topic before we wrap up on Brooklyn Free Speech.
All right, let me see if it comes up. All right, so mi gente, take a look at this. This is Sliwa and Mamdani doing a little skit the other day, and I'll tell you all about that once you see this.
Parade's right to exist, and most importantly, helping to destroy sinister, old political dynasties. Oh, by the way, it isn't all about me. What do you do?
No, I'm a content creator, but I do a little governing on the side. Anyway, first day. You're going to do great, Patrick.
Don't be glazing me, Z-Man. Well, there you go. I'm a little nervous. I got to be honest with you. Whenever I get nervous, I treat myself to a new beret. This one is a new color that the shop just got in. Red.
Oh, looks good on you, Dr. Pilo. Anyway, there's something I have to get to. Do you mind if we get the show on the road?
Oh, no worries. I got a train to go out and patrol. You mind if I put on something that helped get me through cat med allergy school?
Not at all.
Oh, now I know you. You're that guy who couldn't bench press 30 pounds?
It's 41 pounds.
Yeah.
And then the Sliwa Mamdani GOP conservative battles begin once again. I'm like, I couldn't believe it. So, okay, let's break down. Oh, that is not, from my understanding, there's a battle. Is that AI or is that not AI? I did see Mamdani answer a question saying that they approached Sliwa to do this skit. Let's read more. On the New York Post, Curtis Sliwa cozies up to Zora Mamdani in cat-centric comedy skit, but GOP doesn't find it funny. No, they did not find it funny because all of the regulars that were supporting Cuomo, like the Greg Kellys of the world, and that crew over there, they were not happy at all. It said it wasn't the cat's meow for some Republicans. Some GOP insiders are livid at the 2025 mayoral candidate Curtis Sliwa for cozying up to Mayor Zoran Mamdani in a cat-centric comedy skit claiming the Guardian Angels founder betrayed them. Sliwa, the red beret wearing founder of the Guardian Angels, a self-appointed guardian of Gotham's felines, teamed up with the Democratic Socialist mayor in a pre-recorded video at this year's Inner Circle show, which is a musical political parody for charity. Some insiders are claiming that they should get their political donations back after their skit, which shows Sliwa giving Mamdani an allergy shot so he can finally live with a kitty at Gracie Mansion. So it says, when you don't have a bed to sleep in, you have to find anyone who will take you. Fumed former Governor David Patterson. You can tell when people are true to the party, and I thought it was reprehensible. Sliwa insisted his only motive was helping animals. I thought it was great because it was promoting rescuing animals, he told the Post after the skit. Yeah, and it says, explaining a Mamdani staff recalled 2 weeks ago to ask Sliwa if he would appear in a skit about the mayor getting vaccinated for cats. I don't like the idea of vaccination. Something Sliwa said the two political rivals actually agree on. I don't know. What do you think, Mark?
Well, to be honest with you, I could not see the skit because for some reason when I'm on the stream, it just shows the clips. I saw Sliwa dressed as a doctor. I saw Mamdani kind of like a doctor patient thing. I didn't hear the skit, but from the gist of what I'm hearing of the description, Curtis Sliwa is an animal lover, and he wanted to implement the no kill shelters, and anything that he could do to protect and save animals is going to be a big priority for him. And if that gets accomplished, then I'm in agreement that that's more important than uh, political parties. Like, if you're doing something beneficial for humans or animals, then party lines shouldn't really matter. And us getting along and joking around about something is not a bad thing. It's not like Curtis Lewa endorsed Mamdani. They just, there's times when Republicans and Democrats in the House or the Senate or local House or Senate basically work together to get bills passed. So doing a comical skit or something, and uh, if it's supposed to be beneficial towards animals, then I'm all for it. So I didn't see the skit. Unfortunately, I couldn't hear anything. That's just how it is when I'm hosting. I don't actually get to see it, but anyway, that's how I feel. We got about a minute left in Brooklyn Free Speech, so if you want to put in your final your thought on that, or we'll just continue it afterwards.
Well, no, to wrap it up, I'll just say that I think that it's nice to see people from different parties just collaborate on things, and I think that that's the way we move the city forward. It doesn't mean that it necessarily indicates betrayal. So that's all I want to say. I mean, with that, like, I invited the Brooklyn Borough President to join me at an upcoming happy hour, and he accepted. And he's a progressive. He fully well knows that I'm a conservative Republican. We need to do things together. It doesn't mean that I'm aligning with his politics, and it doesn't mean he's aligning with mine. It means we need to work together as people. We need to still be human at the end of the day, because we both love Brooklyn, and we both love to serve Brooklyn.
I had a picture with Eric Adams like 10 years ago when he was Brooklyn Borough President, when he came for a veterans charity event that I was at. So, I mean, when it's for a charity or for a good cause, that takes priority over party politics. That's my opinion. With that being said, for Brooklyn Free Speech, the live stream will continue on X and YouTube. But for Brooklyn Free Speech, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next week. All right, those of you watching on X and YouTube, we also air on cable TV every Saturday, 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Brooklyn Free Speech, channel 56 on Spectrum, channel 69 on Optimum for Brooklyn residents. Those of you that still manage to have cable in the streaming world, and then Verizon, channel 44 in all five boroughs of New York City. And of course, we air every Monday live, 8 p.m. on X, YouTube, and Rumble as well, and via Cafecito Break. So make sure you're tuning in. Cozy's Wellness is not with us this week, but hopefully the trio will be back next week. And of course, we have our special guests regularly as well. So anything else you want to add on any of the topics that we talked about already, or is there anything else any other topics you want to bring up?
Right now, I think that there are other topics that I'd like to tease for upcoming shows. I definitely want to talk about Afro Man, and but I am not prepared with the videos and the report the way I hope that I would be today. But that it's a win for freedom of speech, and congratulations, Afro Man. If you know, you know. Lemon pound cake. Moving right along, I'd also just like to say that when it comes to the No Kings protest, just being in Brooklyn, on Saturday, I was at an event with a lot of people who you probably would probably consider themselves either progressives or socialists, and there was not a vibe or anything like that or tell that would tell you that there was an awareness that that huge protest was going on just in the city, right? When we were in Brooklyn. Why am I saying that to you? Because there is a disconnection with the things that are well funded that just pop out of nowhere, that are made to seem like they have been planned for months. For those of us who do boots on the ground work of any kind, we know that it takes a long time. Like, if you're mom and pop and you got a little bit of money and you got a string budget and you don't got money to be promoting an event, or you don't got the resources to be sending people to put flyers up, or just call, you know how hard it is for you to get the word out? So, thank God that people are waking up and kind of seeing that this is not organic.
It's tremendo bullshit, as you call it.
Much tremendous bullshit. And and I understand, because as we discussed earlier, there's such a heaviness to these topics, and a lot of people out in public settings don't want to hear it. But where do we go to discuss these topics? We are tired of even hearing it ourselves sometimes, which is why we blend in that human to human, or maybe, we show you a commercial of Cozy's Pure Soaps, or we talk to you about MAFA, which is something that Mark is working on, making America fun again, or we talk to you about the happy hours that the Perez sisters host at a local restaurant. If you're looking at it with small eyes, you're like, oh, that's like a little restaurant right there. It's not like a big thing. But if you realize the humanity and the love, and that when you go in there, you're gonna be seen. It's just gonna feel like a warm vibe. You're not gonna feel like you're walking into this dry space, or where people don't even look at you, or they're treating you like a number, or they're ushering you out. You're gonna feel like you could stay. And a lot of people don't feel like they can stay, or they're welcomed in many places. They're being shooed out of their homes, or they're experiencing gentrification in their cities, or catastrophes that force them to move. So, in these moments of humanity that are left in anybody's day, let's try to just have a little bit more fun. It is
Yeah,
statistically proven, something as silly as some people in serious worlds, some people in serious worlds look at dancing as something as silly. Oh, that's so silly to dance. Oh, look how cute you're dancing. No, people who dance retain memory. It's slower.
that's why I have such a good memory. Go ahead, continue.
Oh, you like to dance, yeah. There's so much statistical evidence. I've seen people dancing who were having trouble moving, and all of a sudden the current starts moving, and they just take out another life, and they are fluid. The aches and pains, at least for that moment, are gone. Or the the aches and pains of life, like it could actually start healing you in your body, in your mind, in your soul, little by little. If you're feeling all depressed, put on a crazy merengue and jam for 5 minutes. It doesn't even have to be anything crazy. The rhythms and the happy rhythms and the beats will make you feel like your body's jumping. And like a belly dancer friend I know says, it's like the body's laughing. So whatever it is for you, for everybody, some people like to go jogging, some people like to be at the gym. I like to do the dancing. That's my medicine.
Well, dancing is kind of a cardio too. You're getting some exercise, moving your body in any way. But obviously, gym is my preference, especially lifting weights and boxing. And definitely feel a lot better. If that's your natural cure for depression, right there. To go dance or move your body, exercising, whatever the case may be. But aside from that, you touched on people getting together on the happy hour. I mean, any of the political events, whether it's a rally or whatever the case may be, when you see a lot of people getting together at a MAGA event and people want to call it a cult or whatever, it's like we're so divided politically that when you're around your people, it's just, you just feel like, you belong. Like it's just a more welcoming feeling because a lot of people don't want to go out anymore and socialize. Like the pandemic really took a toll on people psychologically when it comes to socializing, dating, and we're gonna do a show in the future about the way dating and the internet and everything is nowadays with all the craziness that they have and people dating AI and all that other stuff. So that's a teaser for the future that we gotta put out there. But it's to just go out and whether it's a group of 10 people or 20 people or 2,000 people, it's definitely something that people should do more often. Obviously politics becomes a little bit when you say you're going to a MAGA rally or something like that, people will have their assumptions about you and stuff. So Make America Fun Again was something that I started to do fun events where it's not necessarily political. Some of them will be, but it's just to go out and have fun. And it's, some of them are not going to be, political right at all. It's just going to be music and concerts and things of that nature. It did hit a little bit of a snag, but hopefully I'll still get some of the events that I wanted to do in New York this summer. Most of what I'm looking to do is in Vegas because that's where I'm at most of the time now. And I was thought I was going to be working with a very big organization, but that might not happen anymore. And so that's a little bit of a snag, but one way or the other, whether it's a few events a year or every week, Make America Fun Again is definitely part of the mission. So, MAFA, MakeAmericaFunAgain.com. Also have an Instagram account, MAFA make underscore America underscore all that fun again. So, yeah, there's a lot of bad going on in the world, and to just linger on the fear mongering that's out there is not healthy. If the end of the world is coming, you might as well enjoy it while you still can. That's the way I see it. I'm trying to have
Absolutely.
I'm trying to have as much fun as possible before the shit hits the fan. That's the way I see it.
In my mind, like there was a movie that I had seen where there was like terrible things coming and everybody was just jamming out. Dum, 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 dum. That would have been me. Like I'm like, F it, we're gonna die anyway. Let me go dancing. I don't know
When
if
you
I
talk
would.
about dancing and the health and stuff, I remember like Footloose or something like that. That just came to mind of where they wanted to ban dancing or something. I don't remember the details of that movie. It was so long ago, but
But
Kevin Bacon and all that.
what I mean, who knows, right? Like sometimes I think when I put on my conspiracy hat, and I remember when we used to have so many clubs here in New York City, and we don't really, dancing clubs, and we don't really have them anymore. There were all these like noise complaints and ordinances, all this stuff. Like I
Well,
back
that has to
then,
do with COVID too, because a lot of those places shut down, and the rent for those things are like five figures, a month, five figures, something the amount of space that you have, like for Pasha, like used to be called Sound Factory and everything. Like those are very large spaces in Manhattan. So that's, being forced to shut down for months. That's not something that people could really afford. So that had something to do with it. But uh, alcohol sales are down significantly. That's a good thing, because it is healthier. But at the same time, people are just partying less. It's just people just COVID took its toll socially, where people just they almost feel like they have social anxiety, where it's like even like they get invited, they want to go out, and then they're just drained, and they change their mind and they cancel and they stay home and binge watch Netflix or something. And it's just the human interaction is very important, and we as a society need more of it.
We absolutely do. And I can give you a year of testimony because it's been a year and a month that my sister have been hosting these happy hours at least once, twice, and in a good month, 4 times a month, but at least once a month, right? In the swing of the lives that we're leading. And I have to tell you that all the other years we weren't having this commitment. We didn't make it a priority in our lives. I wish we had, because it has sustained my sister and I, carried us through the month to know that there's something on our schedule that we have committed to that we're going to try. And the only thing that will pull us from it is lifing or a job you just can't say no to, right?
Yep.
Because we are living in New York and everything is very expensive. But at the heart of that, one of the most important things for me has always been to gather with people, because I read that and I saw the writing on the wall, mark, for the just even with gentrification and the way the new buildings were coming up, it was just taking up more of the spaces that people would naturally just kind of be at. It's just not the same, that we used to have more social clubs too, all these little places where people couldn't just mingle and talk to each other and have some sort of social interaction. And it is easier to Netflix and chill. I love to Netflix and chill. But there's something that happens when we don't integrate and
Well, there's
communicate with
Netflix
human
and chill
beings.
and Netflix and chill. Those are two different things. But
Well, this is true. This is true. This is true. There's the other Netflix and chill date night. That's a whole other thing, right? But
yeah,
in terms of like human to human interaction, create that with someone, your friend, a family member, whatever it is. It's gonna feed you in ways that you can't even begin to measure. Not just the dopamine effect, the connectivity, looking forward to having something on your schedule that feels lighter than just day to day adult responsibilities. This can mean the difference. Like, my sister and I, we've been, helping and supporting people throughout all of our lives in the wellness holistic. This is what we used to do with Botanical before we closed, or, in 2022, right? After 9 years, we're supporting people in their emotional wellness, spiritual lives. And we weren't doing anything crazy, but just listening, witnessing, and encouraging them to add something simple that was going to feed them at that moment in time. For everybody else, no, it's going to be different. If you're really grieving, what you need as sustenance to feed you is something different than if someone is feeling, let's say, lonely because they just moved to a new town. Everyone's gonna need to feed themselves little new things, but what that is for you, explore it, have fun with it. As one of my teachers said when I was going through one of my rough patches, have fun getting lost, making an adventure. Life is lifing, but let's try to have some fun while we're at it.
yep. And us as human beings aren't naturally meant to be isolated. It's not healthy. I mean, everyone talks about how, oh, I'm independent. I don't need nobody. Like, especially the whole push with women, like independent women, we don't need a man and blah blah blah. It's like both men and women are not meant to be alone. It's just not. by design. That's not how we were created. It's just not, natural. So I mean, you have a loneliness epidemic, you have a mental health epidemic, you have a lot going on in the world, and a lot of that started with COVID and the forced lockdowns and isolation, and everyone being divided politically by their, not only their party but their vaccination status and pretty much everything. They, even within the party, either within the Republican Party, either you support Trump or you don't support him anymore. Now you're divided there. Either you support Israel, or you don't support Israel. Now you're an anti-Semite if you don't. So there's so much division that it's by design. You have to divide and conquer before you could take over the United States of America. There's no, there's no way that foreign powers are going to come in and take over America. They got to weaken our society first, and that's part of what they're doing. They, between I'm going off on a tangent a little bit here because it's something I like to talk about, where because I want people to be more aware. Unfortunately, I wasn't when I was younger, which is why I gained so much weight. The chemicals in the foods, the seed oils, the fluoride in the water, the polyester clothing being plastic, it's all extremely unhealthy for you. You're being poisoned from every direction, and you need to be more aware of that to live a healthier physically and healthier mentally life as well. So, and staying at home because you hate everybody, that's not going to fix anything. Not just going to the gym either. If you like playing chess, join a chess club. Go join a pool league or a bowling league, or do some type of activity. Or just have a podcast with people and talk about how much you hate people, whatever the case may be. Just do something instead of being alone. It's not healthy to be alone. So I'll just leave it at that and pass it back to you.
I would like to share a story, a little testimonial story of faith that happened to me a couple of days ago. Miracles still happen every single day. I know that some people find that hard to believe, but a little miracle happened to me yesterday. Palm Sunday, my mom wouldn't naturally go as a Christian woman to Palm Sunday. And well, she hasn't been able to because she's been fighting for her health for the past month. And yesterday, I passed by a church and I got there too late. And I saw the priest and I saw people holding palms, but I didn't see anybody having an abundance of palms. So I didn't feel like I could ask someone to give it away, even though I was tempted. Then I had this other idea. I was like, let me just walk down the street because sometimes people are careless and they'll drop one on the floor. Sad mission. I went home, my little tail between my legs, didn't find one. No one had dropped it. Then, like, as I'm getting ready to go out in my day for the second time, I get this hunch that I forgot of I wanted to run a quick errand before I went to my destination. So I go to this random store. I don't even get the item I went out to get, but right in front of the store was a little palm that I wanted to bring to my mother. So thank you for how that happened, and the synchronistic timing of getting that little tap. It was like, now is the time to go outside. And maybe I thought I was going to go to the store to pick up an object, but I was just going to go to the front of the store, look on the floor, and saw that someone did indeed drop this palm. I, I put it in the shape of a cross, blessed it with holy water that my mom had given me from her church. And I just kind of, like when the cycle of life, giving it back forward. And I brought it to her and I left it in her room so that she didn't feel that she missed out on the palm and her ritual on that day. And I felt good because it's one of those things, like, everything is hidden in plain sight, as they say. And if you really are open, you can see how this life is really filled with miracles. And it makes life exciting to live, even when life is hard, as it has been for the Perez sisters who have had their mom in the hospital for a month already.
Yeah, life is full of ups and downs. You could have a bad day, bad week, bad year, bad decade, but there's going to be times when there's good, and sometimes going through the struggle is worth going through the good in the future, whatever that may be. Everybody's life is different. Maybe it's the birth of a grandchild or something as you're older, and maybe you lose your spouse, but then you have a grandchild or something later, and it's, there's all different things. You lose someone you love, and then you find love, or whatever the case may be. You got to go through the struggles, and I know there are people out there who are struggling, and I've went through hell and back on numerous occasions, and I'm glad I toughed it out, because I had a lot of incredible moments in life since the struggles, and things do get better, people. For those out there that are struggling, just tough it out. Patty says, I love your show, guys. Thank you, Patty. Thank you for listening. Thank you for commenting. There was something else I was going to say, but I am trucking right now, and I am all over the country again. Mostly out west recently, because I try to stay, home is Nevada now, so I kind of try to stay close to home to, take some time off every now and then, and but I am working crazy hours and stuff. I can show. I mean, I have a truck now that has a TV and a fridge and all that stuff. I could show it on the video if anything, but yeah, let's give a little bit of a quick tour here. I mean, there's a fridge, there's a bed, there's a TV. It's a bunk bed, but
That's
it's all
like
filled with stuff. I haven't really had that organized, so I
Mark.
can bring
That was
a
the
dog and a
fastest.
companion on here at some point, and maybe I will. We'll see what happens, if I'm still with the same company or not. But yeah,
That was
so
the quickest tour in the history of tours. It was like,
yeah,
look at this.
it's
Do, do,
it's
do,
it,
do, 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 do.
yeah, it's a little messy here. There's a bunk bed. I did a full video of the inside of the truck several times on my Instagram, but last time I did one was a while ago. I can get paid as an influencer for the company that I work for now by doing videos for them. Not that much, and I'm not sure whether or not I'm going to stay with them. And you can't pay me. I'm not for sale, in the sense that if I don't believe in something, I'm not going to promote it. I'm not going to tell somebody to work for a company unless I've worked with them for a little bit longer, and I know that they're legit, and I know that, BS is temporary. The trucking industry, you're going to go through some shit. There's going to be times when things go wrong at the shipper or the receiver. It's not the driving that's stressful. It's living in a small space constantly, and the refrigerator opening up when you make a sharp turn sometimes, and all your stuff falls out, and like, it's the little things that are like stressful and annoying. That not necessarily the driving part. Some people, you know, think driving is stressful with trucking, and for some people it is. For me, I love trucking. It's fun. I love whipping around an 18-wheel like it's a Ferrari, and the fact that I could park one of these giant things in between tight spots and all that stuff. I get a kick out of it. I love it. I'm in a
That's
different
pretty
city.
impressive, Mark.
I'm in a different city every day, and the memory foam mattress I have back there is extremely comfortable. I sleep better there sometimes than I do most times than I do in hotels, actually. So I do enjoy it, and it's not for everybody. It's a very rugged lifestyle. Obviously, there's no bathroom in here. There is truck stops. We do take showers. There's a lot of things that people have assumptions of, but I managed to. You have to know what you're doing. You have to, be smart about it. There's people that just don't know how to properly trip plan and make sure that they have a place to park because truck stops fill up after a certain time and everything. So there's a lot of struggles that are involved with it. But when you're experienced and you know how to plan accordingly and use the internet with apps like Trucker Paths to know where, plan ahead and everything. There's people that just, a lot of truck drivers just wing it. And when they're out of hours or when they're tired, they're just trying to find a place to park. And, it's just, as a whole, I'll do some content about trucking on Instagram soon, maybe for this company. I also don't like to post what company I work for because I was doxxed with my financial services job because I have posted it on LinkedIn. I don't post where I work on LinkedIn anymore. So it's pretty hard for me to be doxxed with trucking, but who knows? So for now, I'm enjoying the brand new 2026 truck that I have, and the paychecks are pretty good, and we'll see how it goes.
Well, Mark, I'm glad that we were able to do the show today. And yeah, that's pretty phenomenal. When I see the truck drivers on the road, I'm like just thinking about how they have to manage the space and sometimes very tight switching of lanes in the highway. And I like driving and I get a kick out of even bumping mirrors when cars are double parked, but a truck is a bit much.
Yeah, I mean trucking in New
Pretty
York City,
intensive.
that's tough. I mean the traffic and a lot of those streets are not designed for trucks to turn on. But yeah, I've
Especially
been
with the progressives who just want to add big flower pots in open streets. I had to
yep.
go there. I had a little dig, but but everyone, thank you for those of you who popped in with our pop up surprise from our unplanned hiatus podcast.
Yeah, I mean it's scheduled every Monday at 8 p.m. just the past few weeks. Last week you were able to do it with oh no, last week you weren't able to do it, but I mean life happens, and normally we're on 8 p.m. almost every Monday. But I hope
Mm-hmm.
mom gets better and everything. I do want to share, since you talked about Palm Sunday, I'll share a Polish tradition with you guys when it comes to Easter Sunday. The way it works in Polish households with Easter is um, the Easter morning breakfast on Holy Saturday. Eggs and kielbasa get blessed at the church, and the one egg is split between every member of the family. So if you have four, it's split in four. And also the head of the household, so the father, would take the palm, dip it in holy water, and bless each member of the family. So that's a Polish tradition on Easter. There's a Polish traditions on Christmas too. I'll get into that some other time. But I know we're wrapping things up on the first hour. The only hour. We're only doing a 1 hour show today. We got about 2 minutes left. Maybe we'll go into overtime a bit, but I guess final thoughts, Cafecito.
Yes, please stay connected with Cafecito Break. We post every day on Instagram. So yeah, and when I can, I'm still covering the press conferences with Mamdani, and also we just did a huge activism, Maha children's led by Children's Health Defense, and with Maha we went to Albany and we did a day of advocacy for vaccine rights and vaccine injury. And we met with politicians. I had my meeting too with my constituents. If you want to see the full presentation, go to cafecitobreak.org and you could see that and some of all the interviews that are yet to be posted. So thank you everyone for tuning in. We love you and we'll see you next Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Mark?
Yep. I just want to say thank you all for joining us, and working a lot, little tired, but I mean, Mondays at 8 o'clock, I try to be here almost every week, no matter what. I think it's important to get the news out there. We appreciate all of our regulars that tune in. You could always watch the archives on Cafecito Break from previous episodes. A lot of great special guests that we've had in the past. A lot more to come in the future, so stay tuned. Happy Easter to everyone who's going to be celebrating. And thank you again. Stay positive, everyone, and have a good night.
Bendiciones. Have a good night, everyone. We'll see you soon. We love you. Bye now.